Hello, my dear students. Chalo, let's get straight into our revision for Amartya Sen's famous chapter, The Argumentative Indian.
I know this chapter can feel a little tricky, with so many big ideas and names. A lot of you have told me you find it a bit difficult to get a handle on.
But don't you worry at all. Thick or not, together we're going to break it all down into really easy points that you can remember for your answers. By the end of this little explainer, you'll be feeling super confident, I promise.
So what is Amartya Sen's one big point? What's he really trying to say? It's simple, really. He's saying that we Indians, since forever, basically, have just loved a good discussion. We love to talk, to debate, and to question everything.
He gives it this fancy name, our argumentative tradition, which just means we have a culture of talking things out, of debating, and of questioning ideas. You could almost say it's in our DNA to ask why and to look at things from all different angles. And this isn't some new habit. Just look at our ancient epics, like the Mahabharata. It is massive because it's just filled with stories inside of stories and countless debates and arguments. It's the ultimate proof of how much we like to discuss everything. Okay, now for the most important part of the chapter. Seriously, this could be a 5-mark question, so listen up very carefully. It's the great debate between Krishna and Arjuna in the Gita. So, on one side, we have Lord Krishna. He's telling Arjuna, look, you're a warrior. Your duty is to fight for what is right. Don't worry about what happens next. He tells him to fare forward. Just, move ahead and do your duty. But then on the other side, you have Arjuna, this great warrior, and he's totally worried about the consequences. He's looking at the battlefield and seeing his own family, and he's thinking about all the suffering and death. He questions if duty is really everything. He wants to fare well, meaning he wants the end result to actually be good for everyone. And you know what? This ancient debate is still so relevant today. Think about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the scientist who made the atomic bomb. He did his duty as a scientist, right? But he was horrified by the consequences of what he created. It's the exact same problem, duty versus consequences. Now, here's a very important question. Was this whole tradition of arguing just for powerful men? For kings and priests? Amartya Sen says absolutely not. And this is a super important point for your exam, so pay attention. Even way back in ancient India, women were powerful thinkers and questioners. They were not just standing silently on the sidelines. Please remember these 3 names for your exam answer: Gargi, Maitreyi, and Draupadi. Gargi, what a legend. She was a brilliant scholar, and she fearlessly challenged the most famous pundit of her time, Yajnavalkya, in a huge public debate. She wasn't afraid to ask the toughest questions in front of absolutely everyone. And then there was Maitreyi. Wow. She asked her husband this really deep philosophical question about the limits of wealth. It makes you think, what is truly important in life? A question that's just as relevant today, isn't it? And it wasn't just about gender. This tradition crossed all kinds of barriers. You had people from all castes and classes, like the great poets Kabir, who was a weaver, and Ravidas, a shoemaker. They used their arguments and their poetry to fight for equality and question the way society was divided. So here's the big finish. Why does all this ancient history of arguing even matter to us in India today? How does it connect to our lives right now? Let's find out. Sen argues that our democracy is strong, not just because the British left it for us, but because we have this deep-rooted tradition of public reasoning. We are used to listening to different views. This idea of heterodoxy, that's the key. This long history of public argument is a homegrown strength. It's our own thing, our own heritage, and it's what helped India choose and, more importantly, sustain its democratic path.
Okay, bachon, let's get into our final section and see how all this can become the perfect exam answers. Let's do a little practice. Maybe get your pen and paper ready.
Okay, this is your magic slide. These are the 4 most important points you have to remember from this chapter. If you remember this slide, I promise you can answer any question that comes in the exam. Go on, take a quick screenshot if you want. So here's a very common question you might see. How would you answer it? Just think for a second. What are the 2 key words here? Duty and consequences, right? And here is your perfect model answer.
Faring forward is all about duty, no matter the results. That was Krishna's view. And faring well is all about thinking of the consequences to get a good outcome. That was Arjuna's concern. See? Simple. Just explain these 2 points clearly and you will get full marks.
Let's try one more. This is another really important one about inclusivity. Can you remember the names we just talked about?
And there you go. This is a brilliant way to structure the answer. For gender, just mention Gargi and Maitreyi. For caste, you can write about Kabir and Ravidas, or even how Buddhism and Jainism challenge the old ways. Perfect. So that's the whole chapter made simple for you. Now you are fully prepared. Remember, this tradition of questioning and discussion, it's your heritage. Use it well. All the very best for your exams. I know you will all do wonderfully.